Are you satisfied that they are giving it their all?
As your film clip shows, we have made some progress, but the rate of progress is too slow, and the task ahead is still too big. There's been some laudable commitments from the United States in particular. But if you look at what happened, especially after the financial crisis, many of these countries started to make some progress until the crisis hit. The response to the crisis shows that the focus on poverty remains extremely weak-kneed because the rules of the game simply do not allow for the poorest countries to get the biggest share of the resources. There needs a fundamental reform of the rules of the game, underpinning the way the international financial institutions function, the IMF and the World Bank.
We will touch on some of those. We will touch on those things that you've raised a little later in this discussion. We'll just get some opening thoughts from you, Sandhya, from India, where you work very actively, based in Delhi, but your organisation all over the country on trying to raise the voice of the voiceless, the disenfranchised, to try to make sure that people in power listen to what they have to say. But one riddle that puzzles everybody about India is you've got this fantastic economic growth, and yet the country is not going to meet its MDGs. You've still got millions living in abject poverty. How come?
In order to respond to that, Zeinab, we need to answer the question, what is this growth? What kind of growth and who is the growth for? We know the numbers look very good, 8%, 9%, 10%. Recently, I read that India has 55 billionaires, which is the second highest number of billionaires in the world. At the same time, we have amongst the largest number of maternal deaths. We have about half our children who are undernourished, and we have farmers who are committing suicide because they cannot feed themselves or their families.
Okay, all right. Well, look, some initial thoughts there from our panel. We're going to hear from our audience in a moment. But first of all, let's speak to someone who's working at the grassroots, Angelique Kidjo. She is one of Africa's most popular musicians. She's seen here in her native Benin, where she's helped set up a trust to educate girls.
Les filles qui changent l'Afrique, c'est vrai. Vous allez changer l'Afrique? Oui. Vous allez m'aider à changer l'Afrique? Oui. Vous allez rester à l'école? Oui.
Well, we are very lucky to have Angelique Kidjo here amongst us in the audience. And Angelique, as well as that project we've seen there in Benin, you've also got a vocational training project in Sierra Leone working with former sex workers. You do this kind of thing, Angelique, right across Africa. Tell me, what kind of help do you get from the authorities in these countries? Do they give you enough support?
None.
What did you say? None?
None. I mean, I'm still waiting for the government in Sierra Leone to provide social housing for those girls that get out of brothels, to give them an income-based activity. And that when they leave, they end up in the street. So I'm a child of Africa. I grew up in Africa and always feel that void that the government of my country does not care about me at all. If my parents didn't give me education, I won't be able to be giving back. So me, what I want, talk is cheap. I want action. I want the leaders of Africa to prove to me that they are men with guts, that they have
There's one there, talk to him.
They have responsibility of taking care of us. We feel like orphans everywhere we go because our leaders don't care. Especially when you're a woman, you're a second-class citizen. Nothing is done. Every time decision is made in Africa, girls and women are never in the center of it. And that is the danger. We will never meet the Millennium Development Goal as far as most of the half of the population of our continent is put in a gutter from the beginning.
Angelique, you have a chance here to speak to the chair. Angelique, you have a chance here to speak directly to the chairman of the African Union, current chair. Put your points directly to him.
I mean, my point. I will put my point. What I'm asking the leaders of Africa is that to be able one day to look at themselves in the mirror and being saying, this is the legacy I'm leaving, and I'm proud of being the leader of Africa because I've helped my people grow.
Should they be proud now?
None of them have done nothing, and I'm mad as hell. I'm mad because we are 5 away from the Millennium Development Goal, and I'm still facing mothers crying, knowing that their daughter is going through prostitution to feed the family.